Hey everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are two brothers and one special guest that go through gaming's back catalog of yesteryear. I am your host, Nick. I'm joined by my brother, Josh.
This is take 3 for those who are counting at home.
Well, it'll be edited so they won't be aware of the additional takes. So thank you for outing me. Thank you for outing me.
That's why I'm letting them know. They need to know, Nick. They need to know what happens in the background.
We're going to have to get rid of you, and I'm going to have to bring on more special guests. And to my right... You know him, you love him. He's Ryan, a.k.a. Black Shinobi 956.
Almost. You almost had it. You were this close.
956. It's those numbers, man. It's those numbers. Black Shinobi 956. He's back. Ryan, glad to have you back, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, as usual.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna talk some games. We're gonna talk some news, and at the end of the show, we're gonna have a fun little quiz about PAL and Pokemon. That's right, we're getting our sweet SEO on. But before we get into all of that, go find us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube Podcasts. We're also on YouTube proper, where you can see our beautiful faces. So go check them out over there. Yeah. Hey. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right, word of mouth is king here with Smashing Game Time. We've also got a pretty cool fucking website called smashinggametime.com. It's where this podcast lives. We have the video and audio up every Monday morning. We've also got blog posts going up. I'm doing weekly gaming journals. Josh is supposed to be doing weekly gaming journals.
I owe 2 weeks. I know.
You don't. We're not. That's not something you play catch up on. You just get the week. You get the new week, my friend.
They get the old week because it was not my fault, and they'll get the new week.
Okay. All right, friend. If you're gonna call me out on my takes, I'm gonna call you
that's
out
fair.
on the show.
That is fair.
Just like the TikToks, Josh. That's right. I'm taking your number right now here on the show. Hey. I could sit here and poke fun at Josh all day, but let's talk video games. Josh.
Yeah?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go first because I have a shorter list this week. So
that's fine. Go right ahead.
And
Tell us, what have you played this week?
Okay. Yeah, if you're asking. So I did play a little bit of Palworld. I think looking at this list, I'm the only one who played Palworld.
You are.
Yeah.
So I have it on Game Pass. I haven't bought it. I played for about an hour. The thing that usually bumps me on these games is the start, like the opening, like hey, punch trees. You got to collect the wood. You got to collect the stone. Hey, there's some cool pals out there. You can collect these little ones, but the rest of them, they're too big for you, man. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, they're taking my Pokemans and giving them guns. I'm not happy about it. Or all that stuff, and we can talk about it more in the news because we've got it in the news as well. But hey, Palworld came and took over the world in the matter of a week, and Nintendo didn't sue them, not yet. Nintendo, the Pokemon company, or Game Freak hasn't laid suit on anybody yet.
So they're working on it.
I don't think so. I don't think anything's come of it.
No, they only have gone after the modders so far.
Well, because the modder actually,
yeah, he actually pulled in Pokemon. Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying, they took care of the modders first, and they're like, okay, now that we've taken care of the small fry, let's go after the big dogs.
The modder was like, oh hey, I think the mod was actually, wasn't it called the Pokemon mod?
Yeah, blatantly, yeah.
What are you doing?
And then, like of all things, he put one of the first images he has is Pikachu. You don't go after the goddamn mascot.
No, that's like taking Mickey Mouse. You don't. Yes. Yeah, you don't fuck with you can fuck with Steamboat Willie right now, but you can't fuck with the mouse proper. No. You can't do it.
They'll come at you.
They'll come get you. The only other thing on this one, I've seen some weird takes on this game where people are like, it's cool if you steal stuff from corporations, like. To which I'm like, well, hold up. What about the artist who drew that for that corporation? And then you're telling me you can steal from the corporation, and that's not going to create a precedent that's like, oh, if I can steal from this big guy over here, this little pipsqueak over here is not going to be an issue. So I'm like, whoa. Not to hit people with the slippery slope, but like when you steal from the big guy, it makes it easier to steal from the little guy later on, I feel like. But we'll talk more Palworld down the road. I've played some more Transistor, our book club game. I'm on the 3rd level. I've reached an encounter that is like a big pain in the ass. I don't know if you're at this encounter, Josh. It's right around the time where your sword starts like glitching and talking weird. and then you enter a room that has like all these big boxes, and like the arena with the enemies is a square within a square, and there's this enemy called the cheerleader that kind of puts a protective ray around other enemies. Have you played any
I
Transistor?
yeah, I've gotten to the second boss, but
Okay, I don't believe I've gotten to the second boss yet. I might be mistaken, but this fight is just ridiculous. I like every time I've lost it, like the first power that goes is my main attack, which I've beefed up.
are you
Because
talking
I
about
put
your A main attack or your B main attack?
my A main attack because
Ooh,
I leveled up to a certain point where it let me add a second function into it, and I got it all beefed up. And now every
ooh,
time,
okay.
the first time I die, it takes that one first, and I think it's because it's beefed up. And I'm like, no, that's the one I need because I have it set up to where like after using like the turn based thing that you can still use that attack while that's recharging.
I've gotten to the point where anytime I die or lose an ability, I just restart
I'm starting to get to that point.
because it's very frustrating, especially if you're in the middle of a fight and that happens.
And you lose the ability that you're like using the most.
Yeah, if you do like my bombs, for example, are like my least favorite of all my skills right now. If you took that away from me, it'd be like, it's whatever. But they always go for the one that either use the most or has the most upgrades to it.
See, I like the spark, like the bombs you're talking about. I like mixing with the spark function because then it puts three out, and then you can kind of chain them together to blow up, and it just makes it a
Uh,
bigger mess.
I forget which one I did, but I got the one that makes it like shoot out farther and spreads the explosion.
See, I think the next time I go into that encounter, I need to mix up my functions and like mix and match some things and see what
Yeah.
I can do because right now it's just not working. But we'll get into more Transistor. I'll have more time this week to play it because I'm currently finishing up a script and should be done with it this week. I'm also playing a game I can't talk about that's been fun so far, but I will have more on that. I don't even think I'll be able to talk about it next week. We'll see. We'll see when I can talk about it. The calendar is weird right now. And then a game that I was gushing over in my latest game diary, Nuclear Blaze. I don't know if you guys are aware of Nuclear Blaze. This is
No.
I call it a Metroidvania light because there's
Ooh.
no real like map. You don't follow a map. Everything's like level based, but you're getting abilities throughout each level. And you're a little firefighter bean guy. Like you kind of look like you're off of what's it called? Among Us. You look like a little Among Us guy, but you're a firefighter.
Okay.
And your guy pulls up to this building. You guys are like you and these other guys are fighting this fire in the woods. And then you're like, oh, this building, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna see if there are any survivors. And you go in, it's like this secret government building. You keep going deeper. And there aren't really any enemies. You're just going deeper, fighting fires, and you can't like exit a room until you've banished all the flames. But the tricky thing about it is some rooms like you have to do it in a certain amount of time or else flames will like pick back up somewhere and you have to retrace. And it's only 2 hour long game and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Um, yeah, and the movement's really good. You get like a screw attack real early on, so like it's your double jump, but it also serves as a screw attack. And there are times where you'll be fighting a fire, and then the ceiling will randomly just give out, and you have to use that screw attack to like jump out of the way, and it like slows down while you're doing that. It's so fucking cool.
So I pulled up the video just to see what it looked like, and I didn't realize it's from the creator of Dead Cells. It's like, it looks very much like Dead Cells. And I just read the little descriptive on the side. I was like, okay, this is actually really cool. It's
Yeah,
from the creator.
Yeah, it has one of the guys that was behind Dead Cells. I don't think he's with that studio anymore. I think he's like
No, he's not. He's
gone
he's
on
on
his
his
own
own
and
thing
did
now.
this. But there's some weird government secret experiment stuff going on. I won't spoil it. You know what? I will. Fuck it. If you guys know what SSCPs are,
Yeah.
like the creepy pastas
The
that go around
creepypastas of all the different experiments and whatnot.
yeah, there's stuff like
Yeah.
that going on.
That's
Okay.
cool.
But and I mentioned this again in my diary, but I just feel so weird saying that, but I'm just gonna keep doing it till it's normal. The game does a really good job of building up the suspense because you get a lot of notes throughout the game, and this came out back in 2021, so it's only a few years old. But you'll be fighting a fire, and you keep reading these notes, and it's like, oh, there's this creepy thing in this area, and you're like, okay, cool, like, and you're just fighting this fire, and you're like, the fires get harder to fight, and you're like, okay, when's this spooky stuff gonna pop out? And it just really keeps you on your toes because you're fighting. I mean, you're just fighting constantly fighting fires, and you're like, okay, like, when is this thing popping out? Because every other note's talking about this thing, and stuff eventually happens. I won't spoil that, but
Okay.
really does a really good job of building up that suspense with like, okay, there's something lurking in here. When is this going to happen? And there's a new game plus in the game called Hold My Beer mode. The first time through the
My
game,
attention.
there are a bunch of doors you can't open, and so that's why I originally thought like, oh, I'll come back. You never go back. They're there because you do the new game plus mode, and you get additional abilities that open those doors and gives you like new paths through levels. And it's
Oh,
just
that's cool.
and it's just really fucking cool. And the fires are harder to put out in this mode. So like, there's an area that's really hard in the first run. It's even harder this run. So the game gives you like these little water towers that you can activate that only run for like 5 seconds and then they're gone completely. And I'm stuck in this room right now, so I'm just like, fuck, I need to I need to clear this fucking room. Uh
How many hours have you put into it?
oh, I think I've got 6 hours in the game.
Oh, I mean, okay, I mean, for $10, that's pretty good.
Because
Yeah.
there are some fires where it's like, fuck, like, because the flames will be at one point, they'll be purple, and if that spot isn't taken care of, that'll spread back throughout the rest of the room, and it's tough. It's really tough, and you have to control how much water you have. If you're running out of water, you got to go back to like a refill station, and it's just a really good game for the price. I think I'm gonna do a write up on the site for it. We'll see what I can come up with. I'm gushing over it already. I'm kind of mad. I didn't play it back when I bought it all the way through. But that's Nuclear Blaze. I'll
Sounds
skip
like
it over to
spooky
Shinobi.
Super
Josh doesn't
Mario
go last.
Sunshine.
What? Say what?
Nuclear Blaze sounds like spooky Super Mario Sunshine, but
Ryan, what are you up to, man? What have you been playing since the last time we saw you?
okay. So I got quite the list here. So I'm gonna go through it quickly, but hey, stop me if there's anything you want me to expand on. The biggest game I played was probably Spider-Man 2. Uh, Coming from a person who has Spider Person fatigue, like there's been a lot of Spider-Man out
Yes.
just in the ethos, and you know those stories have like similar formulas to them. So Spider-Man 2 has the, Spider-Man tries to do everything, but he can't. Then you gotta like trust your friends, right? And, like it's like a story we've all heard. Things that I liked about it, like the combat is still fun. Swinging through the city is still fun, and the characters are generally pleasant to be around. But the cons, yeah, it's still too safe. Like they just did Spider-Man 1 again,
Just
and
made it bigger.
yeah, they made it bigger. It's fine. It's not a bad game. There's also just a lot of stuff that I personally didn't care about. Um, as as y'all know, I got a kid coming. Like life is just busy, and so
Mhm.
there's times when I would like sit down to play the game. I only had 30 minutes, and it's like I spent all 30 minutes like at the carnival, and I'm just like, this isn't what I
Yep.
wanted to do. Like, there's nothing wrong with it being in the game. It's just it's not what I wanted. Um, but yeah, it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. The second biggest game that I finished last week actually was Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways. Um,
So jealous.
How was the
so
U3
much
fight?
fun. Disappointing.
No,
Like
no.
I liked that U3 was there, but the cage was in the background and we didn't go to the cage. And I'm just, and I get like they I understand. I wonder if it was just a part of the game that just got left on the cutting room floor because of budget, time constraints. I know they were kind of trying to get rid of QTEs, not rely so heavily on QTEs, and the cage part of that is like 90% QTEs. So
Yeah.
like I could see why they cut it out, but it was still a fun fight. And it's just nice. Like Resident Evil games have this quality where you can just replay them in kind of a silly mode, and it's even more fun. Like it's just a nice way to revisit that game. So I highly recommend it. And based off the ending, I hope we're getting an Ada game soon. Like yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ada hasn't had like a starring role at one point outside of DLC.
Yeah.
This kind of feels weird. I've never played the Umbrella Chronicles, so if she was like, if she had head billing in one of those, I'm sorry, but
I mean, technically, she had like her own storyline that like showed how she escaped from Raccoon City.
she got in a car
Okay.
and she drove away.
No, she got to her. Oh, I'll spoil it, Nick, for you. She got to her location where she's supposed to meet her employer, who you find out is Wesker, who's like, "Oh, well, so you did get the stuff." So then he flies her out, basically, all secretly, like,
How'd you
Okay.
get out? I left. I left.
I flew.
But no, I agree on the Resident Evil games being fun the second, like having it like more fun the second time around because you can just kind of goof off. That was my favorite thing about the OG 4 was just running back through with the Chicago typewriter and
Absolutely. The greatest. I've been playing Armored Core 6. That's kind of my just turn my brain off and have fun.
Yes,
game.
destroy.
Yeah.
As a
The only
But
thing
the
I-
game is
as a future father, hold on to this game.
right.
I need my brain
I
off
just-
for like an hour. Just let me have this, please.
Yeah, I just appreciate it doesn't try to do everything. We're not trying to do an open world. We're not trying to tell like an intricate story. It's
Yep.
just like
Here's
make
your
your
level.
robot.
Here's your mechs. Go fight. Have fun.
Yeah, that's just what I really appreciate about it.
Yes.
I convinced my friends to play Remnant 2, and I was surprised by how good Remnant 2 is. Like, especially once you get past the tutorial. It's not just your typical looter shooter. It's Souls-like, so there's a skill component to your shooting and your dodging. Highly recommend it. I think it should be way more popular than it is.
Yeah, I'm shocked it's not.
I'm sitting on a copy that I'm like, we need to play this, Josh.
I know. I've been waiting for you and Jake to play it, but Jake played a little bit and quit, and you have never picked up your copy.
I played through the tutorial. I played through the tutorial, sir. Thank you very
Well,
much.
we need to pick it up then, and we need to play it.
Yeah, we'll do we should do a video series.
You
I'm
should.
I'd be down.
I want to play it. Like I want to play it more than what I did because I did it for the review, and I felt like I quit playing it because I was like, it's fun, but it's a really hard game by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I know that because I played like a few hours of the original, so I loved that. So I know I would love Remnant 2. It's just one of those games where I'm like, I need someone to play this with because I'm not gonna want to do it alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally understand. Lethal Company, the game that's wildly popular, just not my cup of tea. Like, I happen to have a group of friends that play it nonstop, and it kind of makes me wonder if PlayStation Home was just too early, because they very much use Lethal Company as just like a virtual space to hang out and kind of do stuff, which I can appreciate.
I compare Lethal Company to Phasmophobia a lot. It feels like you're doing a lot more in Lethal Company though, like on the shooting side. And when it comes to like getting together with friends and playing something, I'm just not a fan of getting scared with friends. Unless we're like if Josh were to stream like the Mortuary's Assistant or some other horror game, like I can get down that way and like hang out that way. But when it comes to like playing it together, I think Dead by Daylight's another one that I've just kind of like been scared away from because otherwise I'd rather get scared by myself or be watching someone else get scared.
But see, it's not so much to me. It's not so much these games aren't scary. Like, yeah, they have scary elements. Phasmophobia, I'll tell you right now, even playing VR with you guys, I was scared shitless. I did not want to do it because shit comes out of nowhere. Where with games like this and Dead by Daylight, you see it coming. It's more of like a thrill fun than it is oh shit, I'm so scared.
There's a clip of me the first time we played Phasmophobia together, Josh. It's out there on the internet. Really spooky game.
Right. I guess I don't find Lethal Company scary, and I also don't think like this is just my opinion. Like, the gameplay loop isn't that fun to me, and when I see like clips that look enjoyable or the times that I've had fun with my friends, like, we're creating the fun. Like, we're doing most of the work that the game is supposed to be doing.
I've chalked it up to me at least. It looks like a Rust experience. Me, I don't think Rust is fun playing. I think it's terrible. However, I enjoy the content that comes from it.
Is
Mm-hmm.
so is Lethal Company essentially Among Us, where it's like, oh, we have to activate this part of this area before we get got?
It's very much like it's a joke on like corporate businesses. Like you just work for a company, they tell you to do stuff, and you just got to do it. And
Mhm.
then if you don't meet the deadlines, you just get shot into space. Like
Oh.
it's not trying to be anything serious. So,
That's a solo
which
dev too, which is crazy.
yeah, like props to the developer, and then how the modding community has just taken it and made it even better. Like I see why it's a great game. It's just not my cup of tea. But- And then the last game that I've been playing is Mario Wonder. Been playing this with my wife. I found out she is does not know how to be good at Mario. So I've been teaching it. Like she didn't know. When I play Mario, I'm always holding the run button. Like that's
Mhm.
just instinctual. She wasn't even doing that.
You have
So
to hold the red button.
That's
It's
like gaming
side-scrolling Mario.
101.
right?
Your wife might be a serial killer.
But it's been good. Like, okay, she knows nothing about Mario. My child is gonna know nothing about Mario, so I just gotta like walk you through. No, you want to like get to the top of the flagpole. This is how you get to the top of the flagpole. You know, like simple stuff like that I take for granted.
No, you gotta
That's
go.
it.
You need to hold down on this block so you can go get the warp whistle. Come on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Amateurs.
Well, Ryan,
How about
I'm
you,
glad you're getting to
Josh?
get some gaming in, and I'll tell you, as a dad of two myself, you'll still find the time. It won't be as much, but you'll still find the time. Yeah,
Glad to hear that.
you'll be fine. You'll be all right. Josh, what are you
Yeah.
playing?
All right, everyone. Escape from Tarkov. I've been trying to play it this week. I just haven't had the time. I feel like this week has been very chaotic. So I've mainly kept to Transistor, which I've made it to the second boss. No spoilers for Nick.
Thank you.
I've also been playing Soul Hackers 2. For those, and it's understandable you have your tilted heads because it's not a very popular game. It's from the creators of Persona.
Is
It's
this an
Atlas.
old
So
game?
no, it came out last year or the year before.
Oh, this is some anime ass shit, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, Nick, I know you won't know it, but if I said Persona, you would know what I'm talking about. It's the same devs. They use a lot of the same assets they did for Persona 5, or not a lot of it, but a good chunk of it. But it's different style gameplay and everything. So I just picked it up on the side as a game to play from the libraries. Like when I need to shut off my brain and play something, that's my shut off my brain.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm playing that.
Do
Uh,
you think that that anime game aesthetic is kind of getting played out, kind of getting overused?
yes, as somebody who enjoys like the Tales franchise, especially, yes, because I feel like everybody thinks that just because it is that anime aesthetic that you have to be a turn-based or a Tales-based fighting style, and you have to have your waifus and you have to have questionable like, oh, I'm playing a 17-year-old kid who falls in love with a 17-year-old girl who some objectively would find attractive. Like that's very questionable. Now, in their society, it might be okay, but over here, it's like depending where you are, you got to be careful.
And
Yeah.
just from the outside looking in, anime's really big right now on the TV and movie side. I don't know if we can blame Arcane for this, like being anime light and like kind of introducing people to it, and then having what was the movie that just came out that people really liked? Boy and the Heron.
Boy and the Heron.
And yeah, anime is just becoming a little more mainstream. So I think with it being a little more everywhere, I think people are gonna fizzle out on it.
Oh, it eventually died. I mean, compared to what it was even 20 years ago, like it's definitely grown, like more mainstream. It's just you now have your few, like you got your Jujutsu Kaisens, you have your obviously your Dragon Ball super fans who are like, oh my goodness, we have enough content, bring it back, and you've got your One Piece assholes out there. Like, yes, we get it. They're all like they're good, But it's a religion. I don't need you shoving your religion down my throat. I will watch it at my own pace, and I will enjoy it at my own pace. If I don't enjoy it, I just don't.
It's
I
always
just,
funny how America goes through phases. So like 3-4 years ago, it was our Korean phase. We had our Squid Game. We had all the K-pop, and now we're going through our Japanese phase. Godzilla's bigger than ever at this point.
oh no,
Anime's coming back.
the Japanese phase was back when Attack on Titan first came out, and people would not shut up about it.
Well, now
Like that.
Yeah.
Now
Josh,
they will, but
Josh, you're gonna see people. You're gonna see people that like you would never dream of talking about anime.
I
And
have
you're gonna be like,
Andy's friends' husbands talking about it, and they're like, they only talk about like the mainstream is like, oh man, did you see that new Jujutsu Kaisen? I'm like, yeah, and they're like, oh man, that episode was so good. I'm like, oh yeah, when'd you watch it? He goes, oh, it just came out today, and I translate that to you only watch dub. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I will admit that right now. But at the same time, like, to sit there and say it just came out today, I'm gonna shake my head at you because that means won't sit there and just read or even learn a little bit of Japanese and pick up what they're saying.
Josh is sitting there gatekeeping, like, oh, you watch dubs. I can't be seen with you.
It drives me nuts seeing all these guys who are like, oh, I watch football every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. So, they're like, that's all they do. They drink beer and play golf. And then they come home, they're talking to their wives about, man, that new Jujutsu Kaisen, it was so good.
I'm so confused. We went from football to golf.
Exactly. Do you see my point? They are not staying in their lanes.
Josh, you have to golf and play football. You have to enter their lanes.
Dude, I'd rather kill myself at that point. Moving on.
So I'm just saying, I think the anime aesthetic's gonna run its course here pretty fast.
Oh no, they'll realize that it takes a long time to make these things. They'll get really pissed. They're like, well, this isn't like reality TV. They get that stuff every year. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, there's a difference. Like they have the opportunity where a lot of these shows are either being adapted from light novels or they've caught up to the manga and they have to wait for the artist to catch up and the director to catch up to be able to continue said story.
I think on the, I mean, I'm talking more on the game side. I think
that too.
We'll still the Japanese games will still lean on the art style heavily. I think we'll on the game side here in America go through our phases. I'm seeing a lot of hand drawn games right now. The number of hand drawn games that I've seen demos for or like review codes have come through for. I'm like, oh wow, like we're really gonna do like the ink hand drawn phase. It's crazy. I saw 3 this week. And I was like, oh no. Because I always liked Okami and Wind Waker back in Beautiful Joe, and now they're like, I see it everywhere, and I'm like, oh no, don't ruin this art form for me, you guys.
What have we done?
Soul tolerance, John. Another game with soul in it. Can you really handle 2 games with the word soul in it in 1 week?
I have, and I will continue to do that. Yes. So soul tolerance, yeah. One of my review games I picked up. It's a weird one for me. So it's a point and click basically, but you are playing a robot who's basically like investigating a conspiracy really that's going on. Like basically, how can I say this? I don't want to ruin it too much either because it's like
I don't think you'll ruin it, Josh. I think
okay, that's fair.
You can speak as freely as you want on it.
So remember iRobot?
It's reverse. It's not like just based off what you're saying. It sounds like reverse iRobot.
Well, it's not reverse iRobot, but essentially it's robots basically rule the world. Humans have been long gone; they no longer exist. But robots are starting to become self-aware, and that's what they're starting to call soul tolerance. So your character is basically going in to investigate and find out what's going on. And there's a whole conspiracy behind it. It's very much a point and click, not my cup of tea, and it's a really weird point and click. It's a 3D. Most point and clicks are 2.5 at most. This is all 3D, and it's different. It's a good different.
Are you actually so? Based off what you're saying, it sounds like you see your character, you click somewhere, and your character walks there.
Yes, you so almost like your WASD is to rotate your camera, basically.
So it almost sounds like something like a Disco Elysium.
Yes.
A for lack of a better example off the top of my head, a Baldur's Gate almost, just without the combat. It's just all the talking. It's all the
Yes,
talking and walking.
it's all the talking.
The talking and walking.
I mean, literally, the first thing I did was have robot sex.
Bearing
By
the
choice.
lead.
Yeah.
Was it good robot sex?
No, it was all character text, and your screen just changed to a pink color.
Did
And it cost me 12,000 credits, I think it was.
That's cheap. It's not bad.
Yeah, just the two robots hooked up their machinery together, and that's all it happened. And he goes, wait. He literally goes to the end of the video, he's like, wait, that was it?
All you hear is a dial-up tone. Like you're connecting to AOL. You've got mail.
But I will admit, for what it is a beautifully drawn game, or not drawn, but it's a beautifully made game. It's like a voxel art style.
Mm.
So like it looks great. The rain is fantastic. The neon signs in the background's fantastic. It's just, like I said, when it comes to point and clicks, the only point and click that I absolutely love and enjoy is Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that's Scooby. Oh, the Sega
The
Genesis
Sega.
Scooby Doo.
Yep.
Oh, that's Josh. We got to get around with that. We gotta stream it.
We'll do it whenever you're ready.
We got to do the do. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it the Bros Do the Do.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. So yeah, I'll have that review. I need to send that to Mark. I finished it up today while I was waiting for the meta to update, and
Oh, you're burying the lead. Yeah, you buried another lead. Show the people what you got there next to you.
hey everybody, MetaQuest 3, I'm cool. I'm hip.
Mark talked him into dropping a cool $80,000 on that thing.
500 and some change.
You know what? You know what's gonna really piss you off is when the Apple or the Apple one comes out in a week, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this blows everything else out of the water."
It's not going to.
And Facebook is like, "We're not doing the Quest anymore. Sorry, guys."
No, like they're not going to do that. I mean, what? It's $1,800, right?
It's $3,400.
Yeah.
What's the
for $3,400?
Oh, I'm thinking of Meta's, like, their pro version. That's the $1,800. We don't need that. That $3,000. That is like saying you need a Lamborghini. You don't need the Lamborghini to have a car.
Right.
So speaking of the Meta Oculus, just completely being demolished, you're also playing Demolish and Build.
Yeah. So essentially, it is a construction simulator. You are a foreman and you go do jobs. The last job I just did, I had to take a bulldozer and I had to tear down some wooden shacks.
Oh, so you're the foreman. You're bossing, like.
Yeah, you're bossing people around, but you're doing the job yourself.
Okay, so you're the foreman, but you're not the foreman.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, apparently you run a company, but you're going to these sites by yourself because apparently, hold my beer, I do it better than anybody else.
You're one of those foremen.
And your company is already in debt when you start.
I mean, that's
like literally the first line of dialogue is, "Hey boss, we're broke. We need to get jobs going." Well, first off, how the fuck am I affording you to tell me what to do? Secondly, I'm your boss. What the fuck are you telling me what to do?
Hey boss, we're broke. You fired that man, right?
No, he's the only guy who keeps calling me though. He keeps telling me, "Hey boss, we need to buy some more vehicles so we can get jobs done." Motherfucker, you said we're broke. I can't afford a vehicle. And apparently vehicles only cost like $700.
Just take out another loan. What's another loan? You're already in the red.
I'm just, it's a very convoluted game. And what drives me nuts even more is it was made in Unity. And every time I play a game that was made in Unity that is, I say realistic, but like is not like very artsy, it always reminds me of 7 Days.
What is
7
Days?
Zombie game, 7 Days to Die.
Mm-mm. Not ringing a bell.
Never played it. Seen it, never played it.
Nick, if you saw it, it's just the most generic Unity game you could possibly think of, and it has terrible load times, and it's no joke. Every time I finish a job, it takes 10 seconds for it to think about how much money I earned, even though it's keeping track up top.
I mean, that's just like, I feel like when you get into those sim games, unless it's Power Wash Simulator, a lot of those games just feel like pretty much cut from the same cloth. Like the movement's very blocky.
That's true. That's true, but their load times are at least decent. Where this is feel like, I mean, even when I'm just driving to discover something, it takes like 5 to 6 seconds for it to think about it and go, "Oh, hey, by the way, here's a new spot for you."
Oh, hey.
And it's like, And it's on an M.2. It's not like I have it on like a hard drive or the solid state drive in there. I have it on an M.2. Like, it's really, that shouldn't be happening in 2024. I'm sorry.
Well, you're reviewing this, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you give them their day in court, Josh.
Honestly, even though Mark said that if his DC guy doesn't take Suicide Squad, and that might be my first one, I think this is my first one. It's terrible. It's pretty bad.
Oh, you poor bastard. Hey, yeah, that's pretty. I mean, this is more news, but yeah, the Suicide Squad codes aren't going out until Suicide Squad comes out, so you've got some time.
Yeah, what? So it's like end of. It's not infinite. It's like mid-February.
I thought it was like next week.
Hold on.
It doesn't give you much confidence, right?
No, you
Well-
keep the game. Yeah, you keep it because you figure bad reviews are gonna hit your sales. So you're like, we need to push these reviews off.
January 30th.
Yeah, so like 3 days.
Oh. I mean, the moment they announced a battle pass, that's when I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a shitty game. Within a month, it's gonna be down to like $15.
Give it time, Josh. Give it time. That Saints Rose game. No, that didn't. That game didn't.
I said, how quickly did that game die? Because I think at one point I remember seeing like the initial ads for it, and then not even a week after its release, it was gone.
Well, and that game wasn't even a year old, and it was free on Epic.
Oof.
And I think that was the nail in Volition's coffin, the final nail. So yeah, I think that Saints Row. Hey, Remedy, if you're still around by the time you hear this, oof. Josh, you got some news for us?
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
Yeah.
right.
We'll start with the hard stuff, and by hard I mean sad. Microsoft layoffs. That's right. They just keep on going, folks. Between all of their subsidiaries, so it's Microsoft, it's Activision Blizzard, and they cut me out. What's the other one?
Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard. I mean, King would be in that. A lot of the layoffs. It sounds like it was. I'm sorry.
ZeniMax.
ZeniMax. It does sound like a lot of it was Activision Blizzard, and as a
Yeah.
result of the merger, like finishing and them like finding redundancies. This article we have up is Wesley and Poole over at IGN. This broke Thursday morning, and while every layoff is a kick in the nuts, like every announcement of like sets of layoffs are a kick in the nuts. This one I was a little less surprised about, just because of that merger and everything happening. I will say I saw this, and part of me was like, dude, you gotta cancel Game Pass.
So, I mean, I would have been fine with it if they were hurting, but because of the layoffs, they became worth $3 trillion. Like, they're not hurting. They're clearly not hurting.
Wall Street has hard-ons for layoffs right now, and this is, and I'm not like the super uber genius to talk about all this, but this is the problem with acquisitions and mergers and everyone just, being funneled into one thing. Yes, it's cool to have Game Pass and to have all those games in one spot, and it's very convenient for the consumer, but it's a pain in the ass for everybody else. You don't know if you're gonna have a job. you get bought up, and you're like, oh fuck, like, am I going to lose my fucking job now? And like I said, as cool as it is to have all those games in one spot, I'd rather have a bunch of people making more games, because now it's like, oh shit, I really liked that. Call of Duty is a bad example, but hey, that Tony Hawk remake you guys did was really cool. Oh, you laid off a bunch of people there, and I'm just guessing. I don't know the exact parties that were affected, but all the people who would have done the next Tony Hawk remake are gone. Shit, damn it.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of companies like putting their older games on stuff like Game Pass to like build up like excitement for, their other game. And, I look at where Netflix is right now, and it gets me less excited for where Game Pass is heading, because Netflix right now is not making much of their stuff. Here, let me put up a mirror let me get Game Pass over here to my right. Let me get Netflix over here to my left, and let me put up a mirror. All right, so Netflix was in a period of making a lot of their own stuff. They still do that to some extent, but not nearly as much as they used to. Xbox 360 and earlier Xbox One, Microsoft was making a lot of their own stuff. They still do that to some extent, not nearly as much. Netflix, is now licensing out a bunch of stuff from other people and becoming more popular, getting more of the market share. Xbox is over here now worth $3 trillion, or currently worth more than $3 trillion, and they're just oh hey EA get over here, Ubisoft get over here on the Game Pass. Ugh.
Yeah. You see, Nick, why I don't want to get on the Game Pass? I don't want to be a part of their money wheel.
Shut the fuck up! You just didn't want on Game Pass because you didn't have $10.
I can empathize with the people that got laid off back in June. I lost my job. And being on the other side of that, like, layoffs suck. It's a part of the world that we live in, though. And I just encourage these developers to, like, take the time, hone your skills, and look at what you didn't like about Activision and just keep grinding, keep finding something better. It sucks. It's terrible, but you hate to hear about it. But man, I don't know what to do about layoffs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what can you do?
Our hearts go out to all those affected, and hopefully you guys all land on your feet. This sucks. Riot did it on Monday. Like 500 people. I actually know a guy who got affected by Riot. One of the writers on Players. He wrote an episode of Players.
Oh,
really?
I was like, damn, they let him go? Shit.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe out there. You don't owe your employer anything. Do you to the most you can be, and
Don't be loyal.
Make some money while you're doing you. Josh, what's next?
Yeah, so Pokemon with Guns, also known as Palworld, has overtaken Counter-Strike 2 as the second most concurrent players of all time.
So this is an article on Game Rant from Daniel Morris. It's overtaking Counter-Strike. Let's look at the Steam charts real quick. Peak players, 2 million, 2.1 million. Current players right now, it is a Saturday night here in America. We're at 1.1. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
And Counter-Strike right now is at 485,000.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's crazy. What's even crazier, I didn't realize, is that PUBG is the top at 3.2. That's crazy to think that. That was probably in its prime.
Mm-hmm. And it's still really popular overseas right now.
Yeah,
it's really popular in India.
Whoa, Josh, hold on. Do you see this?
No, Nick, I'm going to ignore that.
Iron Harvest is trending. They're up 108. What is going? King Art Games just announced that.
189%, but the current players of 307.
You shut your mouth. It's either a sale or King Art Games announced something, or a bunch of people got laid off, and people are just like, "Oh, we have to salute them and play their game one last time." I'll look into it after the show.
I'm sure you will.
We talked a little bit about Palworld at the top of the show. I think a lot of what drove people to this game is all the conspiracy theories around it. They stole Pokemon art. They didn't steal Pokemon art. It's a reskin of a game the company made previously. Nintendo's going to sue them. Nintendo's going to shut them down. This is the game Nintendo won't do with Pokemon that we all want. And it's just all so exhausting. It's just like, everybody shut the fuck up.
It's going to die down eventually.
It'll die down eventually. And it's not my cup of tea, but like, if there are 2 million people, there are 2.1 million people that want to play this game, by all means, do it. Are you playing a great game? Maybe for you, but not for me.
I mean, the way I've described it is it's Ark meets Pokemon.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm just on the gameplay watching it, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
When you watch the gameplay, does it really make you think of Pokemon? Because I
say that in the sense of you have these creatures. I mean, one could even argue like, okay, technically it might look like Pokemon, but I guess you could even argue like maybe Digimon or the other Pokemon has-beens that came out in between all of it. But
Mm.
I just say Pokemon in the sense of there are creatures out there that are very like that look friendly looking. They're not really scary. They're not intended to be scary,
From
Mhm.
a
but you can
gameplay
capture them.
from a gameplay standpoint, it was giving me more like mid 2000s, or early 2010s Capcom between like Monster
Mhm.
Hunter and like the Lost Planet games. Like you have
Mhm.
that multiplayer aspect. There are these monsters running around about the world. Uh, Again, I can take or leave survival games. The last one I really got into was Minecraft 12 plus years ago, or 14 plus years ago at this point. Wow. Uh, I don't like the slow loop of the survival game, so it's just not never going to last long enough to actually feel the full thing. But hey, now I want Lost Planet to come back. So Palworld, if you can reinvigorate Capcom to like bring Lost Planet back and make that crazy snow survival with big giant worms running around, I'd love that. I don't see this game going anywhere for a while though, because it feels like every time we have a big January game, it kind of it lingers. It lingers. I think of this. I think Valheim a few years back was a January game that lingered for a while. Uh,
Elden Ring.
was Elden Ring a?
It was definitely early in the year. It was either January or February.
I think it was a March game.
Either
I
way.
wouldn't put Hi-Fi Rush on
First
the
quarter.
same level as
Okay,
these,
first
but
quarter then at least. It seems
yeah.
like they linger for a long time.
I got a hot
But
take.
hey, hats off to Pocket Pair for making Buku Dolores here in
Well,
in
at least
early
until
January.
Pokemon finishes their investigation.
I don't think they'll find anything. At
No,
worst,
they
I think
won't.
what will happen is if there is an art asset that looks a little too close to another Pokemon, that Pokemon will just be like they'll like put out a thing like, hey, we have to reskin this thing because Nintendo is
Yeah.
not about it. The most
Mhm.
fascinating thing I've learned in all this, and I forget where I read this, it might have been IGN or Kotaku, but apparently the Pokemon company does not have rights on every single Pokemon that they put out.
Oh.
Just like the ones that they know
Will
are
make
going to
it.
make them a shit ton of money in merchandising.
Mm.
Otherwise, the other ones are like, what are they at? They're at like they're at 1,000 Pokemon by now, right?
Oh, I mean, what? It's 150 per generation. They're on generation 10 or 9.
So they're pretty close to like, oh, probably almost 1,200. But imagine paying paying all those fees, all those lawyer fees to like go through and like, all right, we now have a copyright on Don Fan. All right, Don Fan, we don't know what you're gonna do with you, but
I mean,
nobody can copy you now.
I mentioned at this point it's probably just the starter Pokemon and legendaries.
The ones
Mm.
everyone sees out the gate, yeah.
Yeah,
Pi
that's my
Pikachu,
assumption. Pikachu's definitely staying. That's your mascot.
that's your
And
mascot.
Charizard. I mean, if you say
This
no to Charizard, you might as well just go ahead and
The Squirtles, the
yeah.
Charmanders of the world, the Bulbasaurs. Uh, hey, everybody, I'm not here to yuck your pal world to have a good time.
Do you think there's anything behind this game not being available on PlayStation yet? Because it feels like for the first time, the conversation of a console exclusive is flipped. Like a lot of people want to play Palworld, but it's not on PlayStation's console yet. I feel like that's going to be a trend going forward, but I don't know.
I
I don't know the reason behind it either. My assumption maybe would be whatever. I don't know what engine they were using, but it was probably easier to convert it from. I imagine they probably made it for PC because PC also has the bigger servers. So there's a difference. I think you can only have like 8 players on console at a time, where with PC I think you can have up to like 32. I could be completely wrong on that. I just know it's a higher number. But I wonder if it's just easier to convert for those two. So they're like, okay, let's stick with this, and then maybe down the road we'll convert it over to PlayStation.
I hadn't even thought of that angle, Ryan. Thank you for bringing that up. I think maybe it was a budgetary thing
That
where
too.
Mhm.
oh hey, Microsoft is going to give us this much money for it to be a day one on Game Pass. We only have so much money to where we can put the early access run, and I think it might be early access because I don't think PlayStation or Sony really messes with early access.
That's true.
I
Well,
don't yeah
I've heard that's true. I don't know if it's confirmed, but
I don't think they play. I don't think they play well with it. They're like, you know what? We want 1.0. We'll see in a few months, or we'll see in a few
Mm.
years.
Yeah, it is early. I didn't really realize it was early access.
Oh, it's rough. It's rough. The hour I played, like I was clipping through stuff. all my punches weren't hitting. And I mean, this is stuff that'll get polished out as we go, but yeah, I either budget or the early access issue. I think it'll eventually make the jump though.
Mhm.
It'll be fast. You know, it'll be really fascinating to see if this is on Switch too. That'll be
Absolutely.
the
Switch
that'll
couldn't
be the,
even run
It says it's
that last
playable on the
Pokemon
Switch.
open world.
that's when the Pokemon team will be like, whoa, you didn't like they don't care. They're at the same party, but once Palworld starts messing with Pokemon's girl, then it's like, whoa. I said we were cool, not that cool.
I'm so tired of people asking if modern games will be playable on the Switch. Like, it just accept that like it's not like GTA 6.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be on any Nintendo platform.
You might get lucky and they put GTA 5 over there, but even then, I'm not going to be like, ooh. Like, to me, it's like if you name a mainstream game like the Batman, Arkham Knight, people are like, oh, it's on the Switch now. Yeah, but it looks really shitty. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to go over to one of my other consoles I can play it. I'm going to stick with this for my Metroids, for my my Marios, like all that stuff. That's what I have my Switch for. That's what it's for parties. That's what that's for.
Mhm.
And people who are like, oh, the modern games, will they run on the Switch? I'm like, well, did you see Mortal Kombat 1? Did you not see that modern game running on the Switch? Did you
It's
not
never
see
gonna
those
happen.
issues? Is that what you want?
Yeah. If anything, they're going to become collector's items. It's like the PS4 of Cyberpunk. Really
that
bad.
was-
But I guarantee you, if you have a sealed copy and you hold on to it for like 10, maybe 15 years, it's going to be worth something someday because it's a national treasure at that point.
You're saying that like you're sitting on a copy of that game right now.
I'm not
Josh.
going to lie. I thought about it. I did think about it. And I'm like, I'm still thinking about it. Like, man, if I can find it for $5. Yeah, why not? In 10 years, it'll be worth at least double.
What else we got, Joshua?
Yeah, Death Stranding 2, a possible title leak came out. So first off, there's going to be it's going to be revealed in a couple weeks anyway. But there are some data miners who went through and they honestly reported that the title is going to be Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
I don't think this is true. First of all,
I don't think it is either.
this article is from GameSpot, George Yang. I mean, Death Stranding 2 on the beach might be like these data miners. I don't know, man. Like, I always hate it when these data miners like mine the data and they're like, and then people report like, oh, hey, this is possible. It's like, no, like this was just something referenced in the data that was mined. Like, what are we doing here? Like this.
Like at best, I would say maybe like a chapter title.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that sounds like a
that's the
chapter
best.
title.
Yeah, it sounds like a chapter title. So I'm like, maybe that's what they're reading. But yeah, I don't see that being the official title.
Or Jeff Gersman on his podcast was like, this sounds like a demo. This sounds like what they would call demo. Or you know how like they did Metal Gear Solid 5, what was it, Ground
Zero. Yeah.
Like it could be something like that where they're like, oh, we're gonna put out a snippet of the game for you to play, and it's called On the Beach.
Which I'm not gonna lie, for what it was, I enjoyed what Ground Zero was. If they did something like that for Death Stranding, I'd be into it. I'm not gonna drop $60 on it like I did Ground Zero, but I was also very hyped for Metal Gear 5.
Oh yeah, you were one of those crazies that dropped 60. Yeah, I waited for Ground Zeroes to go on sale.
Nick, do you want to know how old we are? I went to a Kmart and bought Ground Zero.
So
we are
whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, think about that.
No, that was like 10 years ago. 10 plus years. No. We're switching stories because that was terrible. That's terrible.
I just remember going in and I was like, oh, they've got Ground Zero. And I said, hey, can I get this? And the guy just slid the door open. They weren't even locking their games at that point. They were that far gone.
I remember the last time I went to a Kmart, I do remember like the sliding glass was gone. It was just gone, and they had started putting like all their games in there, and it wasn't anything new. It was like games that were like a couple years old at that point, and it was sad. I was like, oh, you are.
Of all times to be out of my klepto phase, it's like, God damn it. You know how easy this shit would have been when I was 13, 14 years old?
Somebody needs to come into this Kmart and just put it out of its misery.
Dude, the bicycle bandits coming out of retirement.
What's next? Oh, sorry.
Can I ask a Kojima question to two
Yes.
Kojima fans?
Yes.
Do you feel like Kojima needs like an objectively good widely well received game at this point? Like, is he running out of good favor or?
He,
No.
you know, I think it's ironic that him and Jordan Peele are buddies now, because they're both gentlemen that I think don't need to have an objectively like
Good at anything.
good anything. Like I think they found their audience that's going to praise. It's like Nolan. Like Nolan has those nuts out there that are just going to love everything that he does, even if it's Tenet.
Hey, I enjoyed Tenet though.
What's wrong with you?
That's fair.
But like Nope, I mean for on Peel, Nope was like his most like divisive piece of work. I really liked Us. I thought Us was really good. But and now you look at Kojima, Death
That's
Stranding.
the craziest thing you've said on this podcast.
What did I really like Us?
Yes.
I loved Us. I thought Us was great. I thought Us was like a great mix of horror and comedy. I loved it.
That's
I'm
a
sorry.
fair point. That's a fair point.
And you know what? The costume design was really good. I really loved the costume design in that one.
Yeah.
I every time I talk about Us, I bring this up. I would have moved the twist up like 5 minutes to earlier in the movie to make you, you know, kind of like hit you in the heart as the final fight's going on. So you're like, oh, who do I want to win this? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise, I like it. Nope. I like Nope. I think it just gets a little up its own ass when it gets to like the film side of it, with like the cinematographer trying to catch the best pictures,
Yeah.
and then Steve Young, his whole side circus act thing. Even though the imagery of like that whole carnival being devoured and then spit back out was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm spoiling this movie for anybody who's listening. Go watch these movies because they're all really good. And Get Out being the best of all three of those. Yeah, Kojima, to get back to Kojima, I don't think he has to put anything out that's like groundbreaking anymore. I mean, he did 5 Metal Gears. He did even the stuff where he was like experimenting, like Buckeye, The Sun Is in Your Hands, and that sequel. I think
Sequels, there's plural, Nick. There's multiple.
He did a Castlevania that I don't think was as well received. Is that Lord of Shadows, Josh?
Yeah, I think it was Lord of Shadows and Lord of Shadows 2. And then Mirror of Fate.
So he's got his misses, but still, like, they're like the psychos out there. They're like, oh, this is a Kojima joint? I'm fucking playing it. And like, we don't even know what OD is. We just saw talking heads for OD. And people are already like, Kojima's doing horror again. All right, man, we're here for it. It's like, why don't you wait till you see some gameplay, bud?
Oh, I mean, even then, like, we look at Death Stranding. Like, Nick, I don't know about you, or even Shinobi, I don't know about you. Well, I remember when it came out, people were just shitting on it, saying it's a walking simulator. And that's all they talked about is how terrible it is. It's all you're doing is playing UPS. But then actually playing it, I'm like, this is actually a really, really good game. I'm enjoying it. Why did people shit on this so much? Is it because it's not what they expected? It wasn't Metal Gear? Or what was going on here that we were just shitting on it the whole time?
I think Death Stranding was way better than people give it credit for. I think the issue with the Death Stranding face is that like a lot of people, they're like, this is a Metal Gear guy. We're getting a Metal Gear. There's guns. There's scary stuff. It's going to play like Metal Gear. And then they got on and they got the walking simulator. And they're like, oh, where are my guns? Why am I not...
You eventually get them.
Where's my CQ? Yeah, you don't unlock them until like 5 or 6 hours into the game. But yeah, I think
because you're learning about the world. I mean, you're not supposed to kill people.
I think the issue is people went into it thinking like, oh, Metal Gear, it's gonna be Metal Gear. It's gonna be action. Yeah. So
well, I mean, the fact that it's come to iPhone now, like, come on.
I think that
it's a decent enough game that they're pushing it that far.
I think its sequel will be fine. I'm still my jury is still out on OD like everyone else's should be instead of hopping on its wiener. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. That was my long form of answering your question. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Josh, what's next?
Fortnite OG reportedly returning as a separate game mode.
This is another The Gamer article from James Troughton. I believe that's his name. And this was a rumor floating around. So yeah, OG came out in November. People speculated at the time that it was going to stick around. It hasn't. Fortnite has been playing around with a lot more different game modes being available at the same time. So, you got the Rocket League, you got the Guitar Hero type stuff, you've got the Lego. So the fact that OG is coming and staying and the game having 2 separate maps now just makes sense at that point. I'm honestly surprised they haven't had multiple maps running. Just because, it was something that people bitched about PUBG out of the gate, that, oh, we've only got one map. Why do we only have one map? And PUBG eventually did the multiple maps. So I could see. And the thing about OG too is you don't have to change that map too much. You give people that original map and maybe change one thing every few weeks, and people will be like, yeah, I'm here for it.
As long as they have those tilted towers, that's all they care about.
Mhm.
There are a few old maps where I'm like, I kind of want to play this old map or that old map. So I can. This is smart. This is smart.
I could honestly care less. It's Fortnite.
It's crazy that Fortnite's been around for long enough for like there to be nostalgia around OG mode like that.
It is sick. It's gross. It's gross, right?
And to me, Fortnite OG is you drop $150 on their deluxe game of defending the world for it to fail, and then basically go, okay, let's copy PUBG, and then they think they're successful, and fuck everybody else who paid $150 for their shitty game.
Josh is just sour that he spent that money.
You told me it was going to be a good game. I believed you.
Hey, you can still play that mode.
Dude, I don't even. It was on my Xbox, and I said, "Fuck this!" I deleted that son of a bitch so quick.
I love that every point of Fortnite's life cycle has been like them copying something. So it was, hey, we do the Gears of War right now. People like that Horde mode. What if we did something like Horde mode? And then when people didn't like it, they were like, oh, these PUBG guys on the Unreal Engine are like really killing it. We should do something like that. And they're just cycling through people's stuff now that
they literally, someone made a video showing like everything they copied off of, like that they've copied off of Apex, they've copied off of PUBG, they copied off of I'll pull the video for Nick just to piss him off, but there's literally like a 5-minute long video, and it shows like side to side gameplay and tells you when the original game released it and then when Fortnite released it.
Oh no, I believe it, because there was a season where they added balloons and like you ride them up and it shoots you out, and I was like, this is Apex. It's just like Apex. And now when the latest season came out, there was like the big thing in the trailer was a train. I was like, it's just like Apex. They got a train now. The train's moving around the map. I love it. It's just like Apex, but better.
It's awesome. We're moving on. We're done talking about Fortnite. We got enough praise as it is. Yeah, moving on the list. Tekken 8 enters the ring. This was bound to happen. We knew once it came out, it was going to be between, in fighting games, either Tekken 8 or Street Fighter. And it sounds like Tekken is overpowering Street Fighter right now.
Like from a review standpoint or from a player standpoint? Because
I pulled the review, and I mainly pulled it because it seems like review-wise, they're like heavily like, hey, Tekken 8's really good, and it's going to be like, it's going to be the killer. But player-wise, I've heard like mixed. Like some of them are saying, "Oh, it's really good. It's definitely better than Street Fighter." And then I've had the loyalists go, "Street Fighter's still better."
This is a Game Informer review from Marcus Stewart over at Game Informer. So the thing I find fascinating about all these new fighting games is it seems like we've swung back to where PlayStation is the home of fighting games. It felt like a while, it was for like a generation or two there, it was Xbox. I feel like a lot of it was 360 and maybe early Xbox One days, and now we've completely swung back the other way.
Yeah, so let's see. We had King of Fighters, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. And I think every single review that we have seen for the fighting games that we did get were all PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. Probably just play-wise better, easier to get those games together for tournaments. PC's probably a mess with people running different specs. I've read a few reviews. IGN, I think, gave it an 8, if I remember correctly. It's a beautiful game. Look, 8.25 from Marcus here. If anything, over the last year, because I reviewed Street Fighter 6 for Game Chronicles back in... Oh, hell, was that July now? Wow.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
June or July. Fighting game communities tend to be the least toxic from my experience.
I mean, they're still pretty toxic, but yeah, I would agree. It seems to be the least toxic.
Every community's got its bad egg. I actually stumbled upon a fighting game tournament back in August in a comic book store, and it was a good, like, I got a good vibe from that place. First of all, it wasn't stinky like back in my Yu-Gi-Oh days. Like, that place needed a scrub. This place was squeaky clean. Everyone was like, people were talking shit, but like it felt like it was friendly shit. It wasn't like to like just like fucking, oh, fuck that guy. We don't want him to win. This guy's terrible. It was no, it felt very supportive. And I mean, good on these developers delivering these great fighting games for these communities. Again, all of them have their bad eggs. So I know there's some Tekken or Street Fighter fans that are like, no, we're terrible. We're terrible. Don't give us that credit. Stop it.
But then they also bitch when people don't play. Their lines go down. They're fighting the same guy 10 times in a row. Oh, we need more people to play. Well, then don't gatekeep, you asshole.
Well, and I think, and again, I haven't played any of Tekken 8, so I can't speak to it. But what I really liked about Street Fighter 6 was its accessibility. The way they had that control option to where you didn't need to remember those complex combos. It was like 2 or 3 button strikes, and you were doing the combo. It was teaching you to think of when you needed to use those abilities instead of using that brain power to remember combos. And again, haven't played Tekken 8, would love to spend some time on it, but sounds like sounds like Bandai Namco. Mwah.
I'm just excited to get back into the story. Like, Tekken stories is just crazy. I don't know. I have zero desire to like play competitive or play with someone that's not sitting next to me on my couch. So story mode all the way.
I mean, what is Tekken story? Is it just that like they're trying to snuff out people that have demons in their souls or demon?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know that anybody knows. It's just cool.
They're trying to become the champion of whatever tournament they hold, and it's grandpa, son, and grandson fighting each other to see who's going to be top dog at this point.
The only one I religiously played was Tekken 4, which I'm learning a lot about myself as I get older, and learning in my PlayStation phase that I played the bad part of like Twisted Metal 4 was the Twisted Metal I played a lot of. Turns out that's the one that people really, really disliked. Tekken 4 I played a lot of. That's the one people really dislike. Mortal Kombat 4 I played a lot of Mortal Kombat 4. That's the one people dislike. I'm like, oh wow, I liked a lot of really bad video games, apparently.
That's okay, Nick. I say that to myself when it comes to Gundam. Since Gundam Wing is my favorite, and I absolutely love it, that's the worst one of the whole entire franchise.
But still, hats off to the devs. Get you that Metacritic up and get you those bonuses. What's next?
Haters gonna hate. Fantastic. The developer behind The Day Before basically came out in a statement and said, I don't understand what people are bitching about it. It's everything we promised. And we've had people reach out to us outside and say that blogs lied to them and they actually enjoyed the game. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is full shit. Like, you guys are just like so far in denial.
So this is from Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. Yeah, I thought this was kind of crazy. Him calling out, first of all, these blog posts for calling the game like a broken promise and not delivering. Like, I read this and I was like, wait a minute. First of all, how many gamers are like going and reading blogs?
No,
like,
no one goes in and reads blogs.
I say that as a guy who just started one on his own. Like, who's reading these blogs? But that being said, I could see like an outlet like seeing a blog post and be like, oh, we need to look into this. And, I don't think some bloggers might lie for the clout, but I could see like, someone at IGN read this blog and they're like, oh, is this real? I need to jump into this and see if that's the case. And maybe the blog like brought to light some of the issues. And this guy's just like, no, they fucking lied. They're no.
Yeah, I mean, like, the blatant lie here is he claimed implemented everything shown in the trailers before admitting it did include some minor features like parkour. Like, dude, there was a lot that was in the trailer that is missing from this game. Those are not minor features. That is what you promised people. Mm-hmm. You cannot say here.
This game is just like the perfect example of why I just don't like survival games. I've been burned by promises of good survival games too many times.
This is probably pre-ordering. I mean, or just buying games right off the bat in general, unless it's something I like. If it's a game franchise that I'm like, I've loved all of the rest of them in the past, or a good chunk of them, like, and I know I'm gonna get something decent, I'll buy it. But I don't do pre-orders anymore either, because it's like the one that burnt me out on AAA titles was Watch Dogs. Bought that for the Xbox or Xbox One, and I thought to myself, "Oh, this is gonna be such a great game." I remember Nick coming home from school. We were in our room. We were both playing it at the same time, and we looked at each other and went, "This is complete fucking shit. What did we do?
This
This
is not it." I think it's pretty awesome that here's another horror game I can't play. The day before joins the Hall of Fame with Silent Hills or PT. Two amazing games I can't play anymore. Now no longer available for download. PTs and the day before.
You're not missing anything the day before. PT, on the other hand, you need to come over and I'll let you play it.
I just wanted to lump them on the same list just to be an asshole.
As far as his comments go ahead, Josh.
No, go ahead.
It seems like I'm just learning that like game developers are creatives, and a lot of creatives are just a little sensitive. And I noticed that like developers tend to like speak very gently towards each other. And I just wonder if this person did not have like that one friend to just be like, "Hey man, this isn't it. Like, you shouldn't put this out yet. Wait a year, like fix all these bugs." It's weird. It's like he's trying to turn himself into a victim, and it's all you had to do was just do the No Man's Sky like Fallout 76 thing where you just keep working on it, and eventually you have something that some people will appreciate. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the general public has shown like their willingness to forgive and be like, okay, like. But even then, who's the No Man's Sky guy? Is that not Ryan Murphy? I forget his name.
I don't know.
But he already had people hitting him up on, I think, social media, like, "Hey man, like maybe don't market this next game as hard. Like maybe stay away from the marketing side of things."
Those are good friends.
But yeah, hey man, lick your wounds and come back and try again next time.
Maybe don't be as big of a baby about it.
Yeah,
take some criticism.
Yeah, stop crying, man. It's okay. We all fuck up.
Yeah, if we can forgive Fallout 76 and No Man's Sky, we can forgive you. Just don't be a bitch about it.
Pokemon Go and do better. All right.
Speaking of which, moving on.
I say that to segue into our meme because I forgot last week's. I'm not forgetting this week's. Josh, you got a meme for us?
Me time.
I sure do. At the top here, we have a wonderful picture of, I use Pokemon Go as the example because it has all the really cute Pokemon. And below it says, "Hey, can I copy your homework?" Sure, just make sure it looks different so that it doesn't look like you just copied it. Sure thing. What do we get? Palworld.
You know what? I feel like they changed enough before they turned in the homework.
I know, it cracked me up because people keep saying like, "Oh, once again, we've got a killer, guys. We've got the Pokemon killer." No, we got to quit throwing that out there as a thing. This is not a killer, guys. It is its own thing. Is it having some resemblance maybe to Pokemon? Yeah, sure, but even then, like, it's its own thing.
I was thinking, how what are those the Horizon games have been overshadowed?
Yes, every time.
What if like just I'd like to think there's an alternate reality where a Horizon game was going to come out like the same day as Palworld, and it was because they pushed it up. They're like, Palworld's not going to take off. We're going to be fine. And Palworld just completely obliterates Horizon 3.
God damn it. I mean, honestly, I feel so bad because they're such great games. And they've just been overshadowed every fucking time.
I'm thinking about getting that second one when it comes out on PC in March. But it's like they have to worry. Like they have to be already looking at their their release window for the third one. Like, okay, what the fuck is going to be coming out around us?
Well, let's see. So for the first one, it was Breath of the Wild, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's understandable. What was the second one? What came out?
Elden Ring. There it is.
Yeah. That's right. I was like, I knew it was something really big that blew it out of the water, but it's like, damn, guys, can we just? Who's in charge of the fucking calendar?
They had no way of knowing Elden Ring was going to be
as
as
big,
big
as
as
it
it
was.
was. They had no idea.
No, I agree, but they should have looked at the calendar, and gone, maybe we should space this out. Elden Ring might be a big game.
Well, it's just like Remedy had no idea that Red Dead Redemption was going to be huge back in 2010.
That's true.
Whatever it is, I'm sure not to derail the show on it, but I'm sure Horizon 3 is going to avoid that. I'm sure of it.
Coming out on the same day as GTA 6.
Yep.
You heard it.
Stop it.
God damn it! You had one job, damn it.
All right. So, hey, we're going to finish up on a quiz. Josh threw together 8 names, and Ryan and I are going to try and guess if it is a Pokemon or a PAL. And I just saw the first one, and I mean, I think I have an idea on this first one. I have no idea. I have no idea on any of these. As far as my Pokemon knowledge goes, after Generation 3, I could maybe name one Pokemon.
I'm singing the catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all Pokemon song right now. But
So
that's
you've got
all
the
I
first
got.
151, right?
And we're playing for bragging rights here. We're not gonna make anybody do any crazy dares. Like, we're just having fun here. Play along at home and see how bad you do.
All right, you guys ready?
All right, I'm gonna put this up on the
Indeed.
screen so people can see the name on the YouTube.
And then just real quick before we start, do you guys want to do one person starts before the other, or do we want to do the same time?
One can go. I'll go first, and then on the next one, Ryan can go first, and we'll just back and forth like that. What's first, Josh?
Yeah, we have Lamball.
All right. So I know this one because I shouldn't say that because now I just gave this fuck. It's gonna be tied.
I'll go first. I don't know. I'll go first then. I'm gonna go Pokemon.
I feel like he's being nice and just guessing the opposite. This is a PAL because this is like one of the first PALs you find.
It is Pal
okay.
Monster. That is correct.
All right.
We have the pic. I'm not gonna put the pictures up of them, Josh. People can go look the pictures of
Yeah,
these things.
we've got it. We got a separate document for those who want to see. So no worries. Next one down the list, Gradent.
Oh, it's my turn. That Gradent. It's probably like a Pokemon that's shaped like a coin. It's a Pokemon.
Why? Oh, because the greed. I'm going Pal.
It is a Pokemon, and it's actually based off of
Really?
a bushy-tailed squirrel, or like a chipmunk.
Does it hide stuff
Okay.
in his cheeks? I don't know.
It's got puffy cheeks and it's got a huge ass tail.
Okay, I am
Okay.
pulling up these pictures. Hold on. Okay, so here's Lamble. What, Josh? You picked the smallest picture.
Okay, so for those who see it, I picked the smallest picture because I went into the actual Pokédex and the actual Palworld equivalent, which is called the Pal Deck. So it's like their version of the Pokédex.
Okay.
That's what that is the official picture for it.
If I scroll down, I'm only gonna see Gradent next, right?
Yes, I have it separated by page.
Oh, he's
Okay.
cute. Oh no, he's not. All right, who's next?
Next, we have Phalanx.
Folix. I'm going Pal. I don't know.
I'm gonna go. Phalanx. I'm trying to imagine them saying it. Phalanx. I'm gonna go Pokemon.
It is a Pokemon.
Oh wow.
And the best way to describe it before Nick pulls it up is it is a Mega Man version of Weedle.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah, that's
love
kinda
that
cool.
design.
Yeah, okay. It's like they like walk in a chain, right? Like there's
Yeah.
multiple ones behind. Okay.
Oh, that's sweet. I might see if they have a Phalanx plushie out there. Probably not, because they probably don't have copyright on it, right? Josh, can you go through and put these each on a page?
Yes,
so I don't have
yes.
to
Well,
keep doing
you never said to do that before, but yes, I will take care.
it? Okay, so what's next?
Pen King is your next one.
Pen King. I'm gonna guess Pokemon.
I want to say Pokemon as well, but one of these has to be a Pal.
So which one are you going for there, Ryan?
I'm going Pal.
Pal is correct.
There's a no. Hold on. Okay, yeah, there he is. That's a big boy.
Oh yeah.
I
Very
feel like there is like
honorable.
it might be like a cool penguin, like Cool. I don't know. I feel like there's a Pokemon out there. So what is that? 3-1. It's 3-1. It's 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
I thought it was gonna look like a writing device and not a penguin. So it's just...
That's fair. Wattrell is the next one.
With 100% certainty, well, 99% certainty, I'm going Pokemon there.
Wattrell. I kind of feel like it's hard to have it say its name and not feel off. I'm gonna go Pal.
Once again, Shinobi is right. It is Pokemon.
Yes.
It's the birds. It's the birds that are fucking me up. I have to start making different, because you know what? If I had said Wattrell like a bird, Wattrell, like I would have been like, yeah, that's a Pokemon. But I know I was thinking like a big magnet looking Wattrell. That's you know what? Maybe my voice rule doesn't work. What's next, Josh?
Woolly Pop.
I'm gonna go Pokemon.
There's so many circles in this word. It reminds me of Pokeballs, so I'm going Pokemon based off that alone.
It is Palworld.
Really?
Yeah.
Lollipop. Is it a lollipop? What is it? Is it like a sheep?
It's like a female sheep.
Okay. All right. Woolly Pop. What is that? 3-2 still?
3-2 still.
How many we got left?
2 more.
All right. Hey, that ain't still anyone's game.
All right. Next one is Bigard.
Bigard.
It sounds like a evolution of like Beedrill or something, but I don't know if there's any new bee Pokemon, so I'm going Pal.
Just because this one just feels like a bad translation, I'm also gonna go Pal.
It is Pal.
Sweet. I was like, there's gonna be a Beedrill that like has a fencing sword instead of drills for
Fencing swords.
So it's 4-3. Ryan has a chance to tie it here. I think I know this one.
Wiglet is the next one.
You think you know it? So I should go first because I have no clue.
Now, the thing that's caught me on this one is this would be too like if this is a Pal, this is too close to Diglett, and it kind of feels like at that point that then they kind of know what the fuck they're doing. Like it's like that kid in school that like breaks the rule, but like, or he's like doesn't break the rule, but he's still being a little shithead.
But isn't Diglett only 1 T?
Fuck you, Josh. I'm gonna go Pal.
I'm going. I can't not go Pokemon. This has to be some like Aloha Diglett or something. I don't know. It's gotta be Pokemon.
It is Pokemon.
Oh
Yes.
no! It's the big long white one.
I kind of screwed myself with this because now I gotta pull up the extra one. So give me a second while I get that pulled up.
Sudden death. We're tied at 4. I told you to have that. I told you to have that ready, Josh.
Well, I told you I had the stuff up, so I'm not too worried about it.
I forgot about because you know what? I remember seeing Wiglet back in the day. I don't know if this is the last generation or generation before. I'm like, man, they've really run out of ideas, haven't they? Is that like an evolution of Diglett? Like is it like one of those paths where like you can either do Doug Trio or you can do Wiglet? That kind of feels like what that would be. Because if you evolve into Doug Trio and then evolve into Wiglet, it feels like what happened to the other two? Did they die off? Did this one like absorb their energy and like just left them withered?
So he's
looking it up real quick.
It's ecologically similar to Diglett, but it's a separate species. So it's a water type Pokemon.
Okay, all right. So they're starting to get cute where it's like, well, actually, you know what? There's a grass Pikachu out there that we didn't really know about. Did you know this?
Well, I have to question, like, we have all these different regions, all these different professors, and we don't know all the Pokemon. Like, I get that they evolved and things change, but like, come on, guys, we can't keep up of 151 Pokemon in one region.
I have an issue with all these professors sending these kids away so they can plow their mothers. Like, hey, go fill my Pokedex out. I'll take care of your mother.
There's a joke here that I'm not like sure how to explain, but like, like back in my day, we would call white people who tried to act black wiggers, and like Wiglet, Diglett, like there's a
Ryan, we were all thinking it. Do you think the guy over at the Pokemon team that named this knew he knew what he was doing? He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he had to.
He definitely like shifted his eyes in both directions before he said it.
He was watching 8 Mile and he was like, they don't know.
He absolutely knew. He was like, but my overlords in Japan are gonna have no clue what this reference is, but I gotta pitch it. And
he was hard pressed for time, and he's just like, he's like, what if I made Diglett longer and made him white?
He's like, it's like the meme with the 2 buttons, like just do a white Diglett or like
sweating.
come up with something new.
Okay, Wiglet is Diglett appropriation, and I will not stand for it. Sorry, get this Pokemon off my screen. Oh, no.
All right, you two. Yeah, so don't cheat, Nick. I've got.
I started to
2.
scroll down. You're gonna have to do a new one because I saw the pal.
Damn it, Nick! Why?
I'm not gonna cheat, Josh. This is
I get that, but why'd you have to look?
an official. I didn't mean to. I was trying to get Wiglet off the screen. The temptation just to call the episode Wiglet. I don't know if YouTube would look at it and be like, well, we're gonna give them a week-long ban for that.
All right, Nick, don't scroll just yet. I'm almost there.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll go back to the other page then. It's still here.
Wherever I go, I still see it.
Wherever I go, he's still there.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, we're gonna scroll down. I feel like you're fucking with us now.
Dig toys. What do you got?
Me first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Yes.
I'm going PAL. I feel like I've seen a PAL that looks like a turtle with green stuff, with brown stuff on it.
I'm also gonna go pal.
Final answers?
Yeah.
It is.
It is a Palworld.
Oh, he looks cool. I like the way it kind of looks like someone was like, what if we put Charizard and Blastoise together?
Thinking
Kind of reminds
Cubone.
me of what's his name? Metal Greymon from Digimon.
Metal Greymon. They were ripping off we're thinking of the wrong Pocket Monsters. It was the Digimon that were being ripped off the entire time. Do you have another tiebreaker, Josh?
I do have another tiebreaker. I made 2 just in case.
All right.
Next one is Brion.
I'm gonna go pal.
I'm going Pokemon. It seems like one of those human-looking Pokemon. But I'm going Pokemon.
And the winner is Shinobi.
Yes.
Brion. What is Brion? Is it a piece of bread? Oh my god! It's one of those little. It's like a seal, but like it's a fairy seal. Like it's like what is it? Water or ice?
It is water.
All right, I
And then
concede.
it has an evolution that turns into a water/fairy.
It kind of looks like they're like, hey, remember Dugong? We like Dugong. Just do like a little cuter one. Shinobi, I concede. You win. You win.
Thank you.
I
was
now
all
want to go
luck.
through the PAL deck and see if there's like a instead of Mr. Mime, it's Mr. Meme. Just how close some of these names are. Oh man, that was
Did
fun.
Pokemon try to sue Digimon at one point?
Did they?
That seems
think
like
so.
the obvious.
Well, because I think Charizard was like a easy top thing for them. Like that was like their bread and butter. Like, hey, this is our dragon, And then I do feel like the War Greymons and all the different versions of that kind of, sort of looked like Charizard. But does Pokemon or does Digimon predate Pokemon?
No, I thought
Good
Pokemon predated Digimon.
It's really close. It's
I would
really
say within
big.
like a year apart.
It's
like
kind of
what?
like how we had what were those movies? The Meteor movies that came out around like a month of each other. Or oh no, the latest one, there was like a Pompeii movie and like an eruption movie that came, or another volcano eruption movie that came out within the same year. It just these weird phenomenons of these two completely different things, like kind of different things but pretty close, coming out, and like I don't know, everyone was just like in the same brain space. Josh, what do you
Yeah.
So Pokemon 96, Digimon 97.
Oh yeah, so fucking close. I don't think you can animate that quick, right?
No.
You can't be like, oh, hey, this Pokemon, the kids are eating it up. What do you got?
No, unless they were both mangas first, which I highly doubt,
I don't
since
think they will.
Toei animated both of them at one point, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But hey, you know what? Digimon still has the better intro song. Digimon season 4 to be precise. Give it a listen.
I
Give
think
it
it
a
also had the cooler further evolutions.
They had angels.
Digivolves.
They had angels and devils. I don't think
Yeah.
Pokemon's gotten into the angels or the devils yet.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we did it. We
Yeah.
we talked about Palworld. We distinguished some pals from some Pokemons just to help with the confusion of everything. I think we really helped out. Congrats to Shinobi for winning that. I'm not mad. I'm not going to hold it against him. He will get to be back on the show eventually if he ever wants to. Ryan, I will say again, congrats on the announcement for you and your partner. That's really awesome. We're really excited for you guys. And if you want to sell us the naming rights, we'll just take the middle name. We only want the middle name. You can have the first and last name.
I appreciate that so much. Thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
Yeah, where can people find you on the internets? Whereabouts?
You can find me at Black Shinobi 956 on YouTube if you want to learn how to make games, and not just how to make games. If you want to understand the mechanics that go into developing games, check out my YouTube.
Yeah, go check it out. And I promise the next time you're on, I will know it's Black Shinobi 956. I'm gonna write it down. Like I'm gonna get it tattooed right here.
just to be forewarned, he's dyslexic, so he'll mix it up a little bit.
It'll run, and like the hole on my 5 will close off, but then the ink on the 6 will rub off where it looks like a 5. Hey everyone, you can find Nick at that Kaufman on Twitter. You can also find me on YouTube and Twitch at Nick Fat Knight. You can find my reviews on Game Chronicles, and I should have one go. You know what? I won't have a new one up by the time you hear this. So, but go read those old ones; they're good. That Prince of Persia one's doing numbers. Josh, where can the people find you?
You can find me anywhere at I'm Josh Sang, and I'll have 2 articles up by this time this goes up. So read those.
If he doesn't,
One's good, one's bad.
If it doesn't, we're punching him in the arm. Yeah, and Smashing Game Time, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, YouTube podcasts, YouTube where you can see our beautiful faces. We've also got the website, smashinggametime.com. Go over there. We've got the podcast there. We've got our blogs there. Shinobi did a wonderful list for us. 10 of the quintessential Rick and Morty episodes. And you know what? I gotta say, I agreed with a lot of that list. Just about all of that list. It was a good list. I really liked it.
Yeah, that is a really good website too. If y'all haven't seen the website, it's really pretty.
Thank you. Oh,
Nick worked really hard on it. I admit it's a very beautiful website.
I still get nervous about it. 'Cause I'm like, oh, people are gonna see my website. But anyone who's been on there is like, no, I really like what you've done with the place. And I'm like, oh, thanks, you guys. Shinobi, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, go check out the website. I do a diary every Friday. It goes up. I don't know what time Friday. I'm trying to still land on a time there, but it's up on Friday. When it's up, Josh will eventually get his diaries up. when he gets there.
Tonight.
Tonight. It's happening tonight. Thank you, as always, to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. We've got a link to his SoundCloud in the show notes. We'll also have a link to Shinobi's YouTube channel. Go check it out, Black Shinobi 956. Go learn some game stuff. And it's just chill guy. He's a cool guy. Go support him. Hey, everybody, this has been Smashing Game Time. I hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.